All
Alright, we are live. You are watching Club Fantasci. I am your host, David Lowry. Today we are talking with Alex from Mage Company, and we're going to be talking about the new expansion for 12 Realms called Ancestors Legacy, which is now on Kickstarter, and it funded in the very first day, so congratulations, Alex.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here. I know it's about 12:30 a.m. where you're at, so thanks for staying up so late to do this with us.
It's okay.
I guess that's what happens when we're in different continents trying to spread the word, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right, so give me a quick, maybe 2-minute preview of what 12 Realms is, and then we'll go into Ancestors Legacy.
Okay. 12 Realms is a cooperative fantasy family miniature game for 1 to 6 players, although there is a variant that adds a seventh player. The mechanics are simple. It's like a dungeon games. You draw cards, there are monsters, and you have a hero with standard talents. You upgrade your hero, and you try to kill the bad guys, the creatures. The good element of the game is that it has to do with fairy tales, manga, still anime that people really love. So we talk about known heroes from all the fairy tales that have been united to defeat the Dark Lords, who decided to destroy the fairy world. This is something that we didn't reveal in the first edition, but this time we will do it. It's like because always in the fairy tales, always the good guys win. So the Dark Lords gathered and said, "What the hell? We should win this time." And they try with magic spells and stuff, to change the end of the stories. When a kid listens a story, always knows that the charm prince or someone always wins. So this time will be different. And based on that idea, 12 Realms has been created. It's very simple and is recommended mostly for families, and that's why I made few variants, to make it a little more challenging for those who are more gamers.
When I got my copy of 12 Realms, and for those people watching, uh, Mage Company won Best Thematic Games of 12 Realms in our board game awards this year. The one thing
Yeah,
that really stood out to me when we played it was it's very simple to understand, very easy to play, but it's still very challenging, and it really does fit the family theme, the family atmosphere, and even fairly little kids can play this game and comprehend it and be able to do it fairly well.
yeah, yeah. I
You know,
think
it was a really good balance.
yeah. I think it's. I don't know if I'm perfectly correct on that, but I think that this game, at least the basic game and the easy mode, is the best way for a parent to introduce to the kid the world of the games. Simply, easy for the first time. So, it's again, it's a little. I think it's very good. Yeah.
Now, what does Ancestors Legacy bring into the table that wasn't in the base game?
Oh yes, this is a whole new level. Yeah, it has nothing to do with 12 realms. We listen to the feedback of the people, especially the gamers, who were telling us we want something more hard, harder, more challenging. And then we said that, okay, you want challenge? Let's do it. And we thought to add plots. Plots is a combination, as you already know, a story with a scenario for each realm, and the basic characteristic is that to play that plot, you must always use the corresponding realm. For example, if you play the Hand Broom, you have always to use Silver Kingdom. What about the plots? The plots change entirely the game. Why? Because the winning condition are altered. Are not the same. You don't have to win the Dark Lords. Now you have to do different things, and there are suggested setups so people don't get confused, especially the first time, which is important for someone who buys the game, and set it up. So, for example, to give you an idea, in Broomhand, for example, there are witches, one witch per realm, and the heroes have to bring them down from their brooms, and they have to capture them. But only one hero can do that. For example, Sugar Plum Fairy. So all the players try to help, not player, Sugar Plum Fairy, And they must capture all the witches before the invasion marker goes to number 20, because then, kaboom, you lose the game. So there are 8 different plots. There are 3 in the basic in the game box of the expansion, and the rest we reveal them through our stretch goals on Kickstarter. And there are several difficulty levels. There are easy plots and really, really hard plots that you have a 50-50 to win-lose, you know. So I think this time it will be much, much better. Yeah.
Is it still going to have that family vibe so that the kids can still play it and be able to handle it?
Of course, yeah. And we think that there are at least 2, 3 plots that kids will love them, especially this one with the broom or the squirrels, because you know they are still tiny little creatures, you know, and all these crazy colors. And the only thing that they have to do, and we understood it based on the playtest we had, even if you had not played the game, if you haven't played the game, you still can play the plot. You know, you just read it, the suggested setup, and it will be good. I think, yeah.
Okay. Now, with the new game or with the new expansion, there's 4 new realms. So tell us about
Yeah.
the realms.
Okay, there are 4 new realms, and this time are a little more historical. So we are a bit out of the manga style, but it's still good. Don't worry, we will keep at least the level of the previous art, you know, to be good. Here we have Olympia, which Olympia is a Greek. So we have to deal with Perseus and Zeus and Olympian gods and all this stuff. The other is Kievan Empire. This is one of the realms that was a really big trouble for us, because in Kiev they do not have nice stories. I mean, for example, we have a creature like Baba Yaga.
Right.
Baba Yaga was chasing the kids, so it is not a good, you know, a good myth. So we try to find the best possible figures of those myths and fit them in the game, you know, through our way. The other realm is the Nile Valley, and this is my favorite. Sobek, Anubis, Cleopatra, it's Egypt. So you have a whole, I don't know how many centuries you can create anything. In fact, there is a plot in that realm. We haven't yet revealed it. Which you play with Pinocchio and Geppetto, and it's a little crazy because the fairy godmother who made Pinocchio into a boy, turned it into a boy. Sobek and Anubis captured her, you know, and then Geppetto goes to Egypt and tries to release the fairy godmother, and it's so funny because there is a whole crazy story under this plot. And finally, we have Golden Caliphate. It's like the land of Aladdin or something, and there we have to do with lamb, magic carpets, and all this stuff.
With the new artwork, and the artwork is fabulous. It's fabulous in both versions of the game. That to me alone lended a lot to the theme. With the new artwork, how much of a change are we expecting, and does it still feel like it ties in to the original 12 Realms?
If it affects the second artwork, if it affects the first version.
When I first look at it, it doesn't seem like it changes it too much, but you know how finicky people can be.
Yeah. Originally, when we started to design the Ancestors Legacy, the illustrations were not like the ones you see now. They were a little more historical, and we understood right away that the game was becoming a little darker. It's like Harry Potter, you know. The first movies were kids, candies, magic spells, but the 7th, 8th, 9th movie it was, oh my god, so dark. Yeah. So it was about the same situation here, and we revised most of them, and we said to add more colors because the manga area has some specific elements like The warrior does not have a small sword, but a huge sword. Maybe the warrior is small, but the sword is, enormous or something.
Right.
And we try to bring all the heroes to the same level as before, but always to upgrade them, to feel that the game has a good development for the next edition. And I believe that we succeeded on that. Until so far, we have no complaints, thankfully. People love it, so I think it's okay.
The artwork is gorgeous for sure. Um, all right, now since you funded the very first day, now we're looking at stretch goals. What are the stretch goals, and where are you sitting right now with it?
Okay, so far there are three stretch goals that are unlocked. The first one is a plot. Thankfully, it's okay. The Squirrel Raiders. The second one is the Forgotten Lamp, which is in the land of Aladdin, with magic carpets and the stuff. And the third one is the event cards. The event cards are 12 cards for the new realms, 3 cards per realm. Because in the basic game we have a variant for the 7th player that I told you at the beginning, the dark player who fights against the other players. And now this guy will have 12 more cards. And the following stretch goals are going like this. We have upgraded hero boards. We decided to print boards double-sided, with different effects and talents, so people have the chance to feel the game better and increase the replayability, and of course to create a little, let's say, balance. I don't know. We see that the game is balanced, but to increase it a little. And then we move to the miniatures. I mean, if I remember correctly, from the 70,000, we have the Pantheon path. New
Yeah.
buildings, new cards, new miniatures. Yeah.
And let me say, folks, for you watching that haven't tried 12 Realms yet, the artwork was amazing to begin with. The miniatures were very detailed, very good stuff. Um, and from what I'm looking at here on the Kickstarter, it looks like the quality is only improved instead of remained the same to begin with. So now let's talk a little bit about, with the original 12 Realms, there was a little bit of an issue with the rule book. It was a little hard to understand, but now you've made some changes.
Um, okay. Based on the feedback we had, not only by customers or emails, but also through gaming sites, there was a problem with several people regarding the iconography of the town cards. Okay, we understand that, but when we did that, we had in our mind the rest of the galaxy, which has almost the same style. But I think that we should be a little more careful. So it's okay. We got it now. We fixed it. When we published normally last October the game, we fixed the rulebook in 1 month and we posted it online so everyone can read it. Now, the people who will support Ancestors Legacy will get this reprinted book for free, but those who don't want to support the game again, it's okay. They can just pledge it as an add-on item through our campaign. Everything has have been fixed now. We also added a suggested guide, like, do you want to play an easy game? Yeah, you read this, this, and this, and it's okay. You want a harder game? This. To be a little better all this situation. And because we changed manufacturer and the quality is better, we also decided to reprint the cards, as so people can see that Mage Company really cares about the people who buy the games. It's besides we do all this stuff for them, so it was the least we could do. And I believe that's it. That was the main problem. I believe the several errors in the rulebook.
Right.
We didn't see something else. Yeah.
Well, and to be honest with you, once you sat down and played it, a couple rounds, it all started to really make sense and come together. It was just a matter of sitting down and doing it. So it was a little daunting at first, but once we sat down at the gaming group and started doing it, it's like, oh, that makes complete sense. Now you can basically figure everything out pretty quickly. For those watching, if you didn't get 12 Realms, you can back it at the $75 level, and you will get a copy of 12 Realms plus a copy of or no, that's just 12 Realms and all the promos that went with the original 12 Realms. Right?
Yeah. At 75, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so you can still get that and get all the fabulous promos that came with it. So that's awesome, actually. Now let's talk a little bit about uh, what the process is like for you guys. You're an international company and you have to go worldwide. What does it take to get your product from where you live to the rest of the world?
okay, besides the fact that we have to travel all the time, yeah, I think it's a constant fight. This maybe it sounds, too big, but it's not. It's always a constant fight because every day things change. One of the things we focused a lot is the shipping matter. All the stuff with I live in USA, I live in Europe, why I should pay customs, why I should pay. So it was whole matters. We fixed that. It's okay. We have three ships. One ship goes to USA, and from USA we send games, of course, to the Americans, to the Canadians, and countries like Brazil, Peru, Argentina. And there is no problem with the customs. We have two choices. The one choice includes customs, the other not. It's USPS, common thing, common service. In Europe, we send another ship in Germany, and from there we can send games to the whole Europe. We have another vendor there, and the last remains in China. And from China, we send, of course, to Asia and in Australia. So I think that we will complete our quest when we find someone in Australia. So these people there don't need to pay this money for ship fees because now we have fixed all the planet except Brazil and Australia. And this makes us a little crazy. Why? Why? But we will find the solution. We are very near that. It's okay. The
But
whole process.
it's a big challenge for you guys to try to meet everybody's needs and demands.
Yeah, it is. But we must never forget, and this is something that not only people must know, but the companies. We must never forget that people make companies, you know, not the other way. If someone doesn't buy our game, then we do not do anything. We are just useless. We cannot, we have too many things inside, too many ideas. So we have always to work on new things and help people. Of course, the whole process is much more difficult because you never know what will happen. For example, customs delay the production. You may call, the manufacturer and tell him how is going the game, and the manufacturer tells you what game.
Right.
Oh yes, there are there are these things are real. And of course, we must always prepare for damages.
Right.
Yes, this is, I believe, one of the aspects we must be really careful. And damages can cause the entire production of the game. Yeah.
Now, you recently put out another game. What did you recently just put out?
Hoyuk?
Tell us a little bit about that one.
Hoyuk. Uh, we found this game 2 years ago. Of course, the game was a print-to-play version on Board Game Geek since 2006 or something. Yeah, and we printed, and then Mike, my partner, told me, "What the hell is going on? I mean, why this game is not published?" We called the designer, Pierre Canuel, who is a nice guy from France, and said, Pierre, what's going on? Why this game is not published? He told us that he tried, but it's okay. They didn't take it, so we take it. And I believe that Hoyuk is like a very good development of Carcassonne or something. Not that is Carcassonne, there are few similarities.
Right.
The game plays with 1 to 5 players, and the purpose is simple: to win the most points at the end of the game. You build houses, families, animals, but there is this factor of the catastrophe cards, natural phenomena that comes and destroy a block or destroy the houses, but it's a strategic game. I mean, you have just few families and a few tiles houses, but still it has a lot of depth, and it's easy for families. Totally language independent. There is no text, not even title on the cards. Yeah.
Right.
and I think it will be a great game. As I know, it won the Parthenon Trophy in France, yeah, before a few years ago, and we will publish it, officially publish it in Essence Pillar this October.
Nice. Well, I know there was a lot of buzz about it, and I want to make sure we got a plug in it before we ended our interview today. So that's very cool. You also have Wrong Chemistry, which is
Yeah.
another fun little family game. Tell us a little bit about that.
Rock Chemist is a little game, yeah, a little game, but it can do great things. Party, puzzle, abstract, card game. It has too many things. For with the expansion we made, it's for 2 to 5 players. I think it plays with 20 to 40 minutes, and there are a few variants in the game to make it a little more interesting. Run chemistry has to do with the fact that you have cards representing a molecule with funny scientists around the card, and the best part of the game is the names of the elements. We have played so much with the humor in this game. For example, carbone, we have made the current bone and the whole illustration, So someone can find out about the real element, but also can find out about the funny part of that element. And you have 6 tiles in the center of the table, and you just have to form the molecule you hold in your card, and you gain points. Of course, there are a few more things, but this is the core of the game, and it's very funny and easy.
Yeah, it's very easy, and it's a lot of fun. We played it here when you guys sent it to us, and everybody enjoyed it. It's quick to pick up and understand, and you can teach it immediately.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to 12 Realms, and let's do one more final plug for it, and then we'll go ahead and finish our interview. 12 Realms, Ancestors Legacy. Why should people pick it up?
Yeah, this is a really good question. First of all, because of the plots. We believe that Ancestors Legacy is a must-have item. It has nothing to do with the basic version because it brings stories, it brings new rules, it brings new mechanics, new heroes, new realms. Only and only for that reason should someone pick it. Also, this time we decided to make something that we were not so sure if we could do it, but we did it. We add exclusive items, and when we say exclusive, we mean it. We keep our promise that it is exclusive. And this is something that people will see in the course of the campaign because there are some miniatures, for example, because the miniature is so good looking and many people want it, that will have it only for Kickstarter. Maybe it's available in a later Kickstarter, but it's okay. The other reason is because of the prices. This time, I think, is the first time that we have these prices, which is, for example, there is a pack at $100 that you get everything, unpainted, but everything. Okay, and the MSRP, the suggested price of these items are $150 without the stretch goals. I believe that this is a great deal, and there are a few countries like USA, for example, that there are free ships, and this is the best point someone to get the game. Of course, another point is that the people who jump now in the campaign get the reprinted version of the game better. Better paper, revised rulebook, and all this stuff. And someone has a complete collection which worth the money someone gives. I believe that this is the most important reasons. And of course, once more, we offer painted miniatures, and this is something people really love.
Miniatures make the game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's at least speaking for the base game, it's fabulous. I'm recommending it. I think people should pick it up. They won't be disappointed. Alex, I want to thank you not only for doing the interview, but because you and Mage Company have been very responsive to Club Fantasci. You're always on top of it, and you've just been amazing with us. So thank you for that. We wish you the best of luck with the Kickstarter, everybody. You can find Mage Company at magecompany.com. There you can find all of their social media links. The Kickstarter is 12 Realms Ancestors Legacy. Just look that up and go back it. You got 28 days left to do it as of this interview, and let's help push it majorly high and get all those stretch goals met. Alex, thank you for your time tonight.
I thank you. Bye.
All right. For everybody, I'm David Lowry with Club Fantasci. Thank you so much for tuning into our interviews. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Good night.